Niccolò Di Lella is certainly a man of the New Age, an individual who has already made the transaction from terrestrial being to cosmic man. Since childhood in contact with entities of light and extraterrestrials, who on November 30, 2013 came into physical contact with him. Canvases taking him from the bed of the house to Barveno on the Greater Lake, to meet with Ashtar, the commander of the Galactic Federation of Light, and 9 other members of his crew. In the first extraordinary event that, understandably, changed the entire course of his existence, the real conditions of planet Earth were revealed to him. Why many extraterrestrial civilizations watch over us and how they try to help us. He was assigned the task of being a spokesperson for the Federation and disseminating confident messages to those who know how to listen. In recent years, Nicolo has dedicated himself completely to this mission, which wants to facilitate man's connection to his true spiritual essence, and encourage the governments of the world to renounce nuclear energy. With this message begins a work that transcends all borders, to generate waves of frequency and thought capable of helping the planet and its inhabitants to the dimensional change that awaits them. Hello everyone. I make this video because its content is very important, and I want everyone to know this thing that I am going to communicate to you. The Brothers of the Federation in the message of January 3, 2018 through Commander Ashtar announced what we must do. Earthlings clearly. A thought wave work, or thought frequency for world peak. Now I will explain a little to you how this works, but I want to be clear but also as simple as possible. As you well know, the planet is ours and they cannot do things for us. Unless we have initiatives working for the Earth and for other human beings, then they have permission to work with us, as in this case that I am going to explain. Amplify everything. What is this kind of job for now? This type of work is a work where through our imagination we will energetically influence matter and others even at the energetic level through the collective unconscious to help the planet in its ascending step that has already begun. But also to help our other brothers and sisters to have an impulse of unconscious information to awaken. This work is very simple, someone could call it meditation. I move away from what are the nomenclatures that exist today, especially where these types of work have been a bit manipulated. This and precisely a very precise thought wave work. And just when we begin to call things for what they are, in this case it is physics and science. Although our science now begins quantum physics to understand how to examine these types of information, energy thought dynamics, and the phrase that must be pronounced before doing this work, and serves as an intention, it is a phrase that I now read to you that says this: I give the planet all the love of my inner universe, I give my brothers all the love of my inner universe. Blessed is this work, peace, joy, and will to all those WHO love, and peace, joy and will to all those WHO live in the earth. Having said that, you can write to us. We are going to visualize the earth in green and we stayed a couple of minutes, then we make a visualization of the earth in violet color. And we stayed 2 minutes, then gold color, and we stayed 2 minutes, and last of white color, and we stayed 2 minutes. The work has finished. Very simple, it takes very little time. Everyone at 7:30 p.m. is called to do this, so whoever is at home who has a moment of space, of freedom, can close their eyes and do this work with total freedom. who instead is driving and cannot unplug to be able to do this type of work. It is enough even with his eyes open that he pronounces the phrase and quickly shows one after the other the four colors and has contributed anyway to doing this type of job. I am going to explain in detail what it is and how it works. Being intrinsically by our natural capacity of the emitters is of the antennas of the frequency emitters, depending on what we imagine or energetically internally we emanate in the universe. Through everything that even the synaptic grid with all of us living beings, the planets, the stars, the suns, the dimensions. We are all connected through this synaptic grid and therefore we live the very precise information. In this way, we are going to influence the Earth with these types of frequencies, that the frequency of green, the frequency of violet, the frequency of gold, the frequency of white. And we are going to influence all the other brothers and sisters. How it works specifically. Everything we see, nothing really has a color. The colors we see are the capture of a very precise radiation of light. Depending on the color that our eye signals to the brain processes and associates it with a color, and therefore so much we see a very precise color. But it is not that that object is colored, so this is the obvious proof of how frequencies express a color. Consequently, to color expresses a frequency, and as I said before, let's imagine a color. Let's to emit this type of frequency. The green we know has a capacity to work in the cardiac part of our heart, and when the heart is restored its field increases and it is able to heal the body. That is why it is called the color of healing. The violet has a capacity for transmutation of matter. The gold goes directly to work in what is our highest part, which at a vibratory level will influence our consciousness, developing in time what we would call wisdom. White instead of unity is the union of all the fragmentations of the spectrum of colored light, so the result is the white itself is precisely unity. So these are the four characteristics that humanity needs now to make a change of consciousness, and are the four characteristics that can help the planet to do this step. We would say almost without disturbances, or rather, help this step not be abrupt and prevent so many events that could occur if the human being it will not wake up with the evolution of the Earth. What do the brothers do while we do this work? Imagine that we emit this field, which also on a physical level transmits everything to us. Precisely, it travels through the cosmos as if they were in the form of concentric spheres. This field that we emit, which is going to be added to the field emanated by all beings, living terrestrial beings who are doing this type of work. The brothers capture this field of this frequency, multiply the potential of the waveform of the signal of this frequency, and return it to the Earth amplified thousands of times. So we imagine that power, we who influence ourselves, influence others, influence the Earth, plus the help of the brothers who increase the signal, and there is the return. This is only because we are working for the land and they can do this, as their protocol provides for it. The important thing they asked, go read the message on my Facebook page or on my website. They want this work to become worldwide. Why? Because due to the time zone, every hour there would be someone who emits these types of frequencies, and they consequently continue to amplify the signal back down to practically 24 hours. So imagine the power that this prolonged work has for the whole day. For those who do not believe it, for the skeptics, we must not convince anyone, just go and search the web. In those cities where meditation experiments have been done, and what have been the effects in that city, when hundreds of people have joined. Now the message was given in January 2018. And from January to today we are hundreds of thousands in Italy to do this type of work, but it is not enough that we have to do more, so I kindly ask you to share so that this information and this video that you can also ask through my email or by private message on Facebook, everything you need to know, I am at your disposal. Help me, help the brothers above all, to share and make this work the work that should be, that is, globally. I thank you for having listened. I hope you collaborate with me and with the brothers. We need the Earthlings to start giving the Earth what it needs to live as a relationship with its children, us. In this case, those who are not in harmony with the Earth are us and not the animals or plants. So thank you. Thank you.